Hello and welcome back to episode number 3 of Rule the Waves Japanese Turret Farmer Edition. I'm going to head right back into it, and as you can see here, I've already halted production of the 4 Asanagi class destroyers we designed last episode to help balance the budget until those coastal fortifications finish up. I took a moment to review some of the rest of it, and I had to put that one destroyer we'd taken off of Coastal Patrol back on it, as the enemy appears to be using a few more coastal raiders and or submarines. I also took a moment to look at how the force balance was and some of the surrounding sea zones. Didn't see anything too concerning, and so we're going to go ahead and start generating the next turn. As expected, submarines doing their sinking, heavy raider, and enemy coastal raid very much in our advantage. And German Navy declines battle. Convoy attack, more than willing to do that, especially for a large battle size. Again, declined. I don't mind a few free victory points for that round. Almost done with the coast fortifications. Force balance looks good, especially up in Northeast Asia, and hoping to get an invasion event on Kaiutsucho Bay. Sorry, I'm butchering that pronunciation. Okay then. I'm going to decline that and find... Oh, right, we had the last one repairing, so we can use that for the extra patrol fulfillment. And generate the next turn. Finish the 10-inch batteries, the second set for each area. We lose one of our battleships to engine trouble. Stealing the blueprints for the German merchant cruisers, which 2 submerged torpedoes and the mines are the parts I care about most. 6-inch guns, kind of a threat, but they're very fragile usually. Extra range and speed for torpedoes, always welcome. And right into a convoy attack, which of course they decline. And go ahead and resume production of all remaining ships. Still in the positive. And going to be more so next turn. We might have to figure out what we want to do with that extra cash. We may just pocket it for a little bit. Completing anything before the end of whenever this war finishes will be unlikely. Which is why I started the destroyers. Finish our extra 5-inch coastal batteries. I know there's a lot of discussion about which way to go on this one. It seems completely random to me. I like to give them the resources since 2 out of 3 of them are a net bonus in victory points, and we have a positive budget right now. Subdivision and damage control, always welcome. Convoy defense, medium, which guarantees one of my CAs possibly against destroyers, which could be interesting. Turned on the sounds for the game, so hopefully that comes in clear and not too loud. I know that's a common problem with Rule the Waves, is the sounds can be quite loud. But I will try to balance that out in post-production if I notice that's the case. So yeah, as I expected, destroyers, but we have 2 heavy cruisers to counter them with, which is a lot better than I had feared. Just pursuing them right now. I don't see a second division, enemy division of like light cruisers that these guys are distracting us away from the convoy. So I feel free to leave the convoy and kind of just scare them down. accelerate time here a little bit since nothing's going to happen until they turn around. Yeah, that's about what I expected. We're into a coastal battery. Try to cut them off, but their destroyers are pushing 28 knots, I think, if I remember correctly. So I don't think we're going to catch them out. That may be something to look at in filling in one of the gaps in the fleet, is taking the time to design a fleet escort light cruiser, specifically to help chase down and take down enemy destroyers. Gonna head back to the convoy, and that's about what I expected. Oh, we got one. Well, I presume that was from one of the coastal batteries. As always, I'll bring this up. You can pause and check the statistics if you're curious about some of the things that happened. Yeah, it was a single hit. Did I get the right one? Oh, it was this one that sank. And 5-inch, that would have been the, yeah, installation 14. Single hit from a 5-inch. These early destroyers are very fragile. Without further ado, an easy 262 victory points. And our balance is looking pretty good. The ratio could be a little bit better, but I'm not going to complain. We're netting a nice solid benefit every round. It's unfortunate I don't really have the spare destroyers I was hoping to have before the first war. And our lone battleship in Southeast Asia is all by themselves. I'm going to go ahead and send the Yakumo down there. Possibly generate some new events down in Southeast Asia and get that balance a little bit more positive to possibly get an invasion on one of these island chains like the Carolinas. Unfortunate, but you gotta take the good with the bad. German Raiders, 1, 2, 1, 2. So 6, not too bad. And good balance there. Excellent balance there. And nothing new coming off the lines for a little while. Complete success. Seeing it really paid off this time. Got 1,500 victory points. That puts us almost to a 2-to-1 ratio. Excellent. One of the heavy cruisers intercepts. They're not as fast as I would like. I'm a little skeptical whether we'll be able to catch them this time, but it kind of depends on which light cruiser we're looking at. Come up full speed. Angle in. Let her come up in speed again. Gazelle. 21 knots. We have the speed advantage by 1 knot. Looks like this is going to be a long chase then. Try to accelerate a little bit till we get within gun range. And there we go. I don't know how that was for you, but that was very loud for me. Give me a moment. I'm going to turn that down quite a bit. Come back, and that was a 9-inch hit. That's excellent on a light cruiser, especially one that's below 5,000 tons. We'll start simulating in earnest. And rain, excellent. Too bad. Light rain, yeah. moving in, closing in slowly. One of our turrets was out of action there briefly. A lot of this early tech was very unreliable. And very inaccurate. Okay, there's another hit. Volume in game. No. I'm gonna have to turn that down on my side again. And by, there we go. That's another 9-inch hit. They're reporting light damage. Main turrets seem to be still in action, but they have yet to hit us. Not that the Iwate has very heavy armor. Got them with the secondaries. Yeah, the armor is pretty thin. And she has 2 6-inches. 9-inch hit. Well worth having those 9-inch guns, in my opinion. Yeah, and they're really pouring in the fire now. Disadvantage of having so many torpedoes. Get those torpedo flat hits, and oh well, that's not bad. A little flotation damage, nothing serious. And to turn with her, get in on that angle. Breeze out of the south. Try to angle in to get them to launch torps, but early torpedoes, they're very finicky, especially the hull-mounted ones, or submerged ones. 2 9-inch hits, that's perfect. The Gazelle is not going to last. She's going down for sure. Get another 5-inch in, another 5-inch in, and a 5-inch. But yeah, it's all over. She's slowed down enough. Yeah, and she's just taking tons of fire now. And you see how I made that turn? I was talking about it last episode. You do the maneuvering and it hurts your own accuracy. Steadied on this course, and as the ship travels along that course, steadily gets more accurate. You get a lot of hits. And yeah, that was pretty much what was expected. Resounding victory. We had just the 2 hits that we saw early on, 12% hit ratio. I love having gunnery training. And she took 20 hits. Alright, close it and call that a wrap. Netted quite a few victory points. I think almost 2-to-1 ratio, which is excellent. I'm going to leave that monthly balance in place. Been at war for 8 months. We have a solid lead in victory points. And I'm going to need that extra monthly balance come time this war ends. So, range calculator, excellent. Japanese raiders getting quite a few merchants. Enemy coastal raid. Yeah, I'll take that. I have to find them. It's always the difficult part of the coastal raids. And we got just the single heavy cruiser. Chances are they'll run into one of our installations though, since we have so many of them. As you'll see the South Korean ones up here, as well as the ones stationed in Japan. They're close to something. See, okay, yeah. Porting over here, we'll come up in speed, not quite max, because I don't want to foul the grates too early, especially with a reported light cruiser. I want to be able to catch them, and if I lose a knot of speed, I can't catch those Geffian class cruisers. Yeah, and it looks like we missed that one. That's alright. We'll keep hunting them down. Try to get lucky with how we find it. Would be nice if we could see where some of the friendly merchant traffic is. But I appreciate the nod to realism. Ah, and with morning, we have a much better chance of finding them. Light cruiser and a destroyer. That'll be a little bit more interesting, but yeah, we got plenty of secondaries and tertiaries. I'm not too worried about the early destroyers. And if they really are traveling northwest, they may be traveling to get away at this point. Far enough away to move ultra fast. Site's unknown ship. Alright, we found them at last. Turning in and closing. Is the light cruiser. Probably. Game does a decent job at the fog of war. Some of them make you confused. You're like, how can you mistake a battleship for a minesweeper? It doesn't even make sense. They're not even close. But stranger things have happened in reality. Amazon class, which is faster than we are. Likely we'll just be driving this ship into land. We'll get a chance at them, especially if we drive them west and stay engaged to go over the time limit. And while I'm talking, she turns and almost gets to the outside. We can go over this time elapsed by, I can't quite remember, I think it's 2 times the value. It might just be 50%. It's been a while. And it may have changed in Rule the Waves too, anyways. And there, that was the message if you caught it. The Izumo needs to clean grates, and we've dropped 1 knot of speed. You even see it in the grates fouled. Continue closing, and their grates will foul as well, so they'll lose a knot of speed. You'll see that with some of the raider interceptions, where you start not catching them, and then you start catching them again, and now we're within gun range. Perfect. And they got themselves trapped inside of a bay. Perfect. Excellent opening hits. Medium damage. I find that highly believable. Oh, especially with 2 more. I don't think this will be a very long battle now that we've finally found them. And I don't mind getting within the torpedo range a bit. I don't expect they have the same range we do. In addition, the early torpedoes, they're very, very finicky. Even when you're playing the game on captain mode, which is where you can tell each individual division of ships, you can command them all, which if you watched the first silent video, you would have seen that I just had control of the battleships and can kind of give generic, hey, you guys can screen this division, orders to the rest of the fleet. Which is how I prefer to play. It runs a little bit faster, and it seems a little bit more realistic to me. I really like the design aspects of the game and seeing how competing designs interact with each other. But I also like to see how they perform, and this is like a real post-action report on, hey, this design did very well against this enemy class. Or it did poorly, and I think it might have been the belt armor was too weak. So that's kind of how I see this. I like that nod to realism. even if we are trying to be Japanese turret farmers for this particular series. But I wanted to do something silly to see Rule the Waves off. I've been playing it for years now. I always come back to it, no matter how long I've been away. A couple more 5-inch batteries. They finally hit us. Got a secondary battery hit. No effect. You'll see a star here next time for anything that hits one of your ships, and that signifies a penetration, where this means it hit but did not penetrate. Doesn't mean it does no damage, as you'll see that bar, but it means it does a lot less when it explodes on the outside. And we get another 5-inch. Saves the game at the end of that hour. See, that one penetrated because it hit the front part of the hull up towards this is the bow, up towards this section. Oh, we somehow managed to clean the grates. Yeah, perfect. We'll run that a little bit faster, see if we can't get some of those impacts. Oh, she's lasting a lot longer than I thought. I thought with those opening 9-inch hits that she would have slowed down a lot. But they apparently did not hit in the right places. Another 5-inch hit from the secondaries. We're a little dangerously close, especially at that angle. She just needs to turn a little bit to send torpedoes that could hit. Secondaries getting another round in. Another one. Get another 5-inch. Just why I like having heavy secondaries. I did a couple campaigns with very heavy secondary batteries and kind of a minimized primary battery. 9-inch hit there that last round. Kind of a extended time period for the pre-dreadnought, except for battle cruisers, for heavy cruisers, everything. It was very interesting since I'd done it as an experiment to see if it was viable, since a lot of people go the Fisher route. All big gun ships that go as fast as possible. And it's a very effective strategy, I won't deny that. But I wanted to try something different to see if the game kind of modeled enough the interactions between ships. Oh, there we go. 9-inch and a 5-inch. We had those several 5-inches as we came around, and she has slowed. But to see if the game modeled enough of those interactions that you get to see those competing design philosophies actually be successful. Rule of the Wave seems pretty liberal with what works. And I know they've tweaked a lot of it for Rule of the Waves too. I'm really interested to see how that affects kind of what the community is doing within design preferences. Now what I'm doing here is torpedoes will come out, the port torpedoes will come out pretty much at a 90-degree angle. The Amazon is going pretty slow. We continue on this course as we get to like here. As the Amazon's moving forward, the torpedo will be able to intercept there, and they might actually launch. I'm expecting it, and we don't get a chance because we get 2 more 9-inch hits, as well as the 5-inch hits, and they're done. And it looks like they did get 1 merchants, which is why the game speed was forced down early on. That's a nice victory right there. And almost 4% hit ratio. 33 hits to take them down. So that took quite a bit. Coming back to the overmap. Yeah, that's about what I was expecting. A nice net of victory points. Doesn't quite keep us at the 2-to-1. I think enough of their raiders were successful in the last round. Check and see. We've got 3 pre-dreads, 1 heavy cruiser each, They got the few light cruisers and a 2-to-1 ratio on destroyers, although all of ours are on ASW Coastal Patrol. And we're still doing good in Southeast Asia. And they're keeping a significant chunk of fleet over here, but they haven't moved it out of the Indian Ocean into the Pacific. Always welcome. That one I'll look forward to. The subs. Raiders being a lot more effective. And that seems to be about how we've been doing the last few months. I think that maintains enough for an invasion to potentially happen. This one, I think, has not. They've moved in enough. The pre-dread, the light cruiser, and the destroyer, and that's just enough. Yeah, they pulled them out of here. And I want to maintain the superiority up in the home isles. In case they move more, I don't want to get blockaded for a turn. Okay, getting extra destroyers. Very welcome. We can throw them on the patrol for ASW Coastal Patrol, or we can actually use them as escorts or light action. Keep saying they're making progress on that range, but they haven't gotten it yet. They've significant progress for 3 months in a row. Kept AP projectiles, which I think I'd focused that in research. That'll be nice. Less rounds need to hit. Get rid of one of those German subs. Raiders doing their thing. Battleship engagement. Please say yes. Yeah, they would be fools to do that. Small engagement, which I will take because it'll be one of our heavy cruisers, which seem to be doing alright against lighter units. Okay, not fantastic. We did have the one which I think we took out a destroyer earlier in the war. And this will probably be the last battle to run due to time. I want to keep these to a nice regular time. I don't want to start doing very long videos. Okay. I'm guessing those are destroyers, both because of how quickly they moved and how they're maneuvering. And how quickly they got out of sighting range. See, they say it's a light cruiser, but I'm skeptical. They're saying that one's a destroyer, and they look like they're part of the same division. Yep, there we go. Confirmation. One of the S-18s we've become so familiar with during this war. Not going to be able to catch that. Might be able to force them back into port, which would be ideal to run this quickly. And with a victory for us, free victory points. Cut them off at this cape. And we get our first hits with a 9-inch on that. Hard to tell from that picture. I really want to know too. Nope, we didn't knock it out. The picture almost makes it look blacked out. Like maybe we had knocked out their main armaments early on. I think we're going to turn out. You have a lot of torpedoes on those. You'll notice that one though we got with a 9 and a 5-inch definitely going a lot slower. At this point, these aren't really true destroyers. They're more of torpedo boat destroyers, which in the time period that this is set in, excellent. Another hit. They'll be slower. Probably already doomed to sink at this point. Torpedo boats were kind of like proto-PT boats, but a little bit bigger. They weighed in. I'm no expert on the time period, but I think they weighed in the relatively 100 200-ton range. And navies at the time, recognizing how dangerous the torpedo was, developed these torpedo boat destroyers to keep those away from the capital ships, because they were very dangerous, which I'm completely ignoring by getting very close to these guys. And then navies realized, well, the torpedo boat destroyers are good at taking out torpedo boats. How can we deliver our torpedoes with a cheap ship? Well, you can use the torpedo boat destroyers. So they started mounting torpedoes on them. And eventually they had this arms race, not just of the battleships and the dreadnoughts and all that stuff, but they also had a race amongst destroyers where each nation was developing destroyers that were bigger and better than their opponents because they would last slightly longer than the smaller previous generation ones. They would have slightly better armament to take out other destroyers. So, like, it was convergent design where everything was turning into kind of a multi-purpose light action combatant incapable of independent action. A little disappointing, the heavily damaged one. Made it close enough, made it in port. But free points as far as I'm concerned. And maintaining the 2-to-1 ratio. And with that, take a quick glance. We're going to be getting a whole lot more destroyers. I'm not going to mess with these until they finish their workup. And all this stuff I'm probably going to leave alone between episodes. And with that, if you're still here at this point, I appreciate you hanging around and sticking with me. I look forward to seeing any comments. I'm looking for feedback. I want to know what you guys like. I want to know what you don't like. I'm here because I enjoy this. I think I bring a different perspective, especially once Rule the Waves 2 comes out, towards these games, and I want to explore that with you. And I hope it's entertaining for you. So please let me know. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Take care.